We talk a lot about people coming into the country illegally. What does it take to get into the country legally? Joining us on 710 KURV with an op-ed in the Los Angeles Daily News is Agustina Vergara Cid, who is a contributor with Young Voices, and she was from Argentina, immigrated to the U.S. back in 2017 to pursue a master's degree. And she talks about all sorts of things in this particular article. But you're saying that Elon Musk has the right idea here on immigration. Let's talk about your story for a bit and how that relates to this.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. So Elon Musk, and a legal immigrant himself, just like me, I think he's very familiar with the legal immigration process and how difficult and how many obstacles and what seem like arbitrary obstacles there are for immigrating legally here. So it takes a lot of work, a lot of money, a lot of suffering, honestly, to be able to immigrate legally to America. And even for the people that are, it's really hard to find a way to do it. First of all, there's these myths that we carry from Ellis Island that, we are a nation of immigrants and we welcome immigrants with open arms. That is unfortunately no longer the case, and it hasn't been the case for many years in America. So there are very narrow categories and possibilities for people to be able to come here legally, and even those very, very few people that can do it, it's extremely challenging to do it. Musk shared the testimony of an American citizen whose husband is trapped in these kind of like immigration steeplechase, right? She cannot have her husband come legally to America, and it's her husband, the husband of an American citizen, and she was having all sorts of difficulties bringing her own husband to live in America, and that is just a little microcosm of what actually legal immigrants go through to come to live here.
You've described the immigration process as Kafkaesque and labyrinthic. What do you mean by that? For those of it, because not everybody has legally migrated to the U.S. So what's the process like?
So there are a number of ways to come to America, but they are very, very restrictive. So first of all, the immigration system right now excludes most people from coming here. The only ways to come to America are with very limited opportunities for work visas. So those who want to come here, who have a job offer from an American employer and want to come here to work for those employers, those visas are very, very limited in their availability. There's a cap on the number of visas that are given every year. And the process itself requires a lot of money, a lot of paperwork, and a lot of, when dealing with government agencies, it's usually the case that there's administrative processing that take a very long time and mistakes and things like that. And then the two other main ways of coming to America are either through family, meaning an American citizen sponsors an immigrant, like a husband, a wife, a parent, and a sibling or children, and that's basically that's it. There's no more family that can be sponsored, and that process in itself, while it's usually the most straightforward process, it is extremely hard, and it leaves people often without the possibility of, if they're currently in America, without the possibility of leaving the country while their visa processes and leaving them without the possibility to work, which is what happened to me. And then the third option is to come here seeking asylum, like we've been seeing a lot lately, or seeking, or refugees that are escaping a situation of war or things like that. So those are essentially the biggest categories that we have for coming to America. And that excludes the vast majority of people who simply want to come to pursue their American dream and want to come here to build a life and work like, we're known to do here in America.
Joining us on 710 KURV, Agustina Vergara Cid, who's got an op-ed in the Los Angeles Daily News about the immigration system. And you point out something that's very important, that with all this talk of asylum seekers and people coming into the country illegally, the current legal way to get in is so cumbersome that it almost incentivizes people to come in some other way.
Yeah, so the people crossing the border right now, it's mostly people that don't have a legal way to come to America. And not only that, but also because the system is so restrictive, because we have such restrictive policies, the only people that we are attracting are essentially, so the tiny little fraction of people that can come here legally, or people who are so desperate that are willing to risk what it means to come here illegally, right? But if we opened up legal immigration, if we made it more straightforward, if we really allowed Americans to sponsor the people that they want to come, if any employer could sponsor the people that they want to hire, for instance, all sorts of people would come here, right? Including extremely successful people who are already in other countries having a good life, but they want to come here to pursue an even better life, that sort of life that is only possible here in America because we have such unique freedom. So that is one of the things that bother me the most about the legal immigration process, is that it really leaves out some of the best, most productive people that could potentially come here.
Davis Rankin, your question for Agustina. Go ahead.
Do you have any insight?
Hold on. The button.
It's on.
It is on?
Yeah,
Joe, is his mic on?
We're having microphone problems. Do you have an opinion about why why Congress has not changed, reformed the immigration laws and processes? Because this is not a secret; it's known that the thing doesn't work.
Yeah. So I don't have any insider information or anything, but my opinion is that there's really no political willingness to do this.
Yeah.
Some may argue that part of the issue is that some politicians want to run on these problems, so they want to kind of like exacerbate the problem in some way to make sure that they can, propose an alleged solution and then fix it. But what's true, there's also there's this conception that mostly a lot of people have, but a lot of unions have, and unions have a lot of influence in American politics, which is that the jobs that are offered in America should go to Americans. There's kind of like this conception that people don't only have a right to work, but they have the right to a specific job. So essentially, what it does is it forces employers to hire within a very limited pool of Americans, and they cannot go out and hire people from outside. And let's remember also that, people are not fungible, right? People are individuals with unique talents, and an American employer may want to hire an immigrant because they have a set of talents that they cannot find anywhere else, and they should be able to do so. But unions don't really want that. They don't want the competition. So I think part of that influence that unions have on politics is one of the reasons why this reform hasn't happened yet.
How did you get in?
This gets pretty sticky once you get into the nitty gritty of it. Yeah.
Well, how did you trick them into letting you come in? And I don't know if
he's trying to be cute. Please don't get offended by that.
Yeah. I forgot. My sense of humor doesn't translate sometimes. How did you get in, number one? And number two, when you come in, as you did as a student, I believe, do you have to tell them, no, I want to be a citizen, or yes, I would like to get on the citizenship track? What happens?
Yeah, so I didn't trick anyone into
that was my bad.
Me in here.
That was my bad joke.
Yeah.
I apologize.
He was trying to be. Yeah.
No, I understand. No, I follow the legal process to a T. So, and that's why I know that how hard it is, how expensive, and how painful it can be. I gave a talk on this topic where I lay out some details. I have a talk. You can look it up on YouTube. It's called "The Immorality of the U.S. Immigration System." So, I came as a student, but I was engaged to an American citizen who's my husband. So we got married a while before and a legal permanent resident through family sponsorship.
Okay. As somebody who's done it, joining us on 710 KURV, Agustina Vergara Cid, somebody who came in from Argentina, born and raised in Argentina, and knows the legal way to get into the country very, very well. She has an op-ed in the Los Angeles Daily News, and she joins us now. What as somebody who's gone through it all, what would you say would be some positive improvements to our immigration system? Just apply, send in an application, take a social studies class, and then you're in, or what would you say?
No, so I think, look, ultimately, as someone who's a really big fan of American freedom and our founding values and what it means to be free and live in America, I think the immigration system that we have right now is based on really bad philosophical premises, including the premise, like I was mentioning earlier, that the American immigration system essentially forbids people from working, right? That is the main concern of the system. It really does not want people to come here to work, which to me, honestly, is really mind-blowing that in America, we forbid people from working. So ultimately, because the immigration system is based in such bad premises, it doesn't need to be reformed, really. It needs to be kind of like rethought entirely. But that is not going to happen anytime soon. And part of what we were mentioning earlier, there's no political willingness to really look into this issue and finally figure it out and, give America the immigration system it deserves. But some of the changes that can happen is that within the system that we have right now, without requiring an entire rethinking of the process, is there is so many caps to the number of people that can come here in the very limited areas that we can, many limited specialties that can come here to America. So part of what I think needs to happen is to get rid of those caps and let American employers really hire the number of people that they need to hire or they want to hire. And ultimately, I think anyone with a job offer from an American sponsor, from an American employer, who's also willing to, cover all the costs and who's willing to do to guarantee that this person is going to be here peacefully, and every illegal immigrant goes through many background checks and controls to assure that they're not coming here to harm people. But anyone with a job offer should be able to come here. Any legal immigrant should be able to work for an American. Because one thing that I think is important to highlight is that every restriction in immigration is ultimately a restriction on native-born Americans, because it prohibits Americans from trading with whoever they want, from hiring whoever they want. And in the case of this woman that Elon Musk was talking about, even from, it prohibits people from living in the same household with their spouse. And honestly, I don't think that can be in America.
Yeah, one last question. This is Davis Rankin again. Is there a room in American immigration system for folks who don't have a college degree, not looking for, they just want a better life? They want to improve their circumstance and the circumstance of their family. Is there room for that?
Look, if you mean if it can happen right now, well, no. Mostly, for the most part, those people cannot come here right now. Whether they should be able to, honestly, yes, I do think they should be able to, because part of what happens right now is that the government, when it comes to job offers and employment visas, the government only lets in people who have college degrees and who are highly qualified in certain specialties. But it's honestly just the government, and they are called skilled, quote, immigrants, right? Mm-hmm. But that's ultimately the government picking winners and losers, right? It's like the government, arbitrarily saying what it regards as skilled and what it regards as non-skilled, and the government deciding who the American employers should be able to hire, what talents are, quote, needed in America, instead of letting the free market do that. So I think anyone who wants to come here to work, who's peaceful, doesn't want to inflict any harm on anyone, should be able to come here to America to build a better life, like we're all trying to do daily here, right?
Yeah.
You are a very informed young lady on the immigration system, and you've got a lot going on for yourself. Where can people find more information like this opinion piece in the Los Angeles Daily News and other things that you're working on, other publications?
So you can just Google my name, and you can find information on Google. That will direct you to my website, where you can find my X account and my Instagram, where I post about all my articles that I publish, and I have some other content there as well.
Agustina Vergara Cid joining us on News Talk 710 KURV. Check out the opinion piece. Elon Musk gets it. America's legal immigration process needs to change in the Los Angeles Daily News. You're listening to News Talk 710 KURV.